from the gold spot ETF, right? Okay. The second one, they managed to beat it later on in March, where they beat their previous record of 4.6 billion trading to 7.7 billion in the same day. Then, BITB is actually BlackRock's spot ETF for Bitcoin. They managed to get to 1 billion in the top 25 ETFs in the history. So from the beginning, from the moment that we have ETFs, and this is like after Second World War, they managed to be one of the top 25 ETFs that managed to get fastest to 1 billion collected funds for Bitcoin. And guess what? On 1st of March, officially, BlackRock managed to be the first one in time frame to beat $10 billion collected. So from top 25 to first in history with the fastest collection of $10 billion. Then, in one day, all these ETFs, they managed to collect 1 billion of inflows. Something, again, not every day seen, something that is very rare. We're talking about $1 billion of inflows. This is in one day, they bought $1 billion of Bitcoin. So it's like a vacuum cleaner for Bitcoin, if you ask me. And let's not forget the best part. From the beginning, from the first day, from 11th of January, BlackRock managed to have a 71-day streak of inflows. So they had a 71 days of inflows. Every day of this 71, somebody was buying Bitcoin in the Bitcoin Spot ETF. Again, something not seen in the last 20 years. So they're breaking record as they go. Literally every day there is something else that they broke in record of how much Bitcoin they're buying. I mean, again, it's one thing to say, yes, it was successful, you know how they managed, okay, it's okay. Another thing is how much the traditional finances have no clue how this big is. Let me tell you why. Before the 11th of January, the news, the traditional finance, because I'm also following Bloomberg, I'm following these big houses that actually have a, let's say, economy program, they were saying, if a Bitcoin spot ETF manages to collect 1 billion until the end of the year, all of them combined, we will consider it a good ETF. 1 billion, all of them combined, until the end of the year. BlackRock managed 21 billion until 28th of September. 21 billion until, so do you realize how much even the traditional finances have no clue how big this is? So we're talking about people that have been watching ETFs for the last 20 years. These are people that this is what they do every day. That's how much these people have no clue where this is going. That's the interesting part. Now, the next one that we know about, obviously, is the Ethereum Spot ETF, right? This is the second largest market cap altcoin, as you know, and also another one of BlackRock's favorite. It's not for no reason, obviously, because I don't know if you are informed, but BlackRock is doing a platform for a real-world asset tokenization on Ethereum called Widow, which means these guys are trying to tokenize everything, but everything from stocks to real estate to bonds, and they're doing it. There is a rwa.xyz page which tracks the tokenized capital goods in the world. These guys are crushing it. Widow platform managed to collect $500 million in the first 3 days. So this is how much money is invested in what BlackRock is building. If BlackRock says it, it's gonna do it. So one thing you need to learn about investment is follow the big guys. It's always very wrong to go against them. So when BlackRock says ETF for Ethereum is very smart thing to do, they don't do it for no reason. There is definitely something behind. Now, as you can see, if you see the progress of Ethereum Spot ETF, this is the second part that I was doing the presentation, so it's like until 3rd of September. Unfortunately, I was doing it every day, like in a week. So look at the chart. Unfortunately, as you can see over here, we can see a lot of outflows. And these outflows are coming from the same player, Grayscale. Grayscale was the only organization in America smart enough to have a private fund of Bitcoin, private fund of Ethereum. And they have a lot of altcoins, but we're not going to talk about that. So what they did, they front-ran the front-runners. They actually offered to everybody that wants to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum before it was even an idea to have a Bitcoin or Ethereum spot ETF. But unfortunately, these investors, since they did, again, 3-4x, something unthinkable for Wall Street, they started exiting. So as you can see at the beginning, they started exiting the market exactly on the 23rd of July as The same thing happened with Bitcoin Spot ETF. So everybody is disappointed. Oh my God, Ethereum Spot ETF, there is no inflows, people are not interested. Is this really the truth? We're gonna see with time. But if we compare the Grayscale fund, which is actually bleeding out, the same as Bitcoin, the same as Ethereum. So this is the only guys that are selling on the market. Everybody is buying. Fidelity, Invesco, Franklin Templeton, BlackRock, only Grayscale is selling. The same thing that they did for Bitcoin, they did for Ethereum. So as you can see over here, this is a chart in days, how much they bled out on the market while everybody was buying. So what was happening? For the Bitcoin Spot ETF, they managed to lose 60% of their whole stash of 600,000 Bitcoin in the first 150 days. And they are doing the same with Ethereum. And as you can see over here, the outflows of Ethereum and the outflows of Bitcoin, which is actually this part here, is the same size of this here, because let's not forget that Ethereum was approved on 28th of July. We're literally seeing the same pattern, where Grayscale is selling and everybody else is buying. Yes, I know it's a little bit slow on the market. We've seen Ferris is crying, I'm crying as well, trust me, but we're going to a very, very good place. But doesn't matter. Again, I'm not here to tell you pink stories, I'm here to tell you what's happening, and you need to draw your own conclusions. Now, same guys, again, why do you think the same guys are here again? So when it was only Bitcoin, we were saying, okay, it's only Bitcoin, you know, because Bitcoin is number one, nobody can follow it, but then why are they here for Ethereum? Why they came back for the second largest Bitcoin, for the second largest altcoin? And let's not forget, unlike Bitcoin, Ethereum has a founder. Ethereum has a foundation, right? They have a lot of, let's say, Ethereum in their stash, which means it's not the same decentralization as Bitcoin, but they are still here. The same guys. Two guys are missing. Over here are 8, oh sorry, those are 12, these are 10. But again, if we see the largest players, BlackRock, Fidelity, Invesco, and we're missing only Franklin Templeton. But the same, number 1, number 3, number 7 in assets under management are again in the same place. And they have collected. BlackRock has managed to collect in this short time since practically start, what is like a month and a half practically, $825 million of Ethereum they collected until now. Fidelity second with 320 million, and so on and so on. But what's the difference now? If we compare Bitcoin to Ethereum, the first thing you know that is different is the market cap, right? The market capitalization, the amount of money that was invested in Bitcoin and Ethereum. And as you can see over here, again, this is from the 4th of September, now it's a little bit different. This is just for you to have an idea. You can see that the difference is in these two market caps is around 5 times. So if BlackRock collected 21 billion of Bitcoin in the first 7 months, and they collected almost 1 billion in the first month and a half in Ethereum, and we can see that they have a 5 times smaller market cap than Bitcoin, then you can imagine what's the potential in the Ethereum Spot ETF. It's even bigger, because we're talking about a lot smaller market cap, which means if you invest $100 in Bitcoin, it's going to take, so now it's $1.1 trillion market cap. So you need to have another $1.1 trillion invested in Bitcoin for you to have 100% back on your investment, which means you gave $100 and now you have $200. The price has appreciated 100%. But in the same time, over here you need only 300 billion, right? I mean, when I say 300 billion, it's like, yeah, whatever, 300 billion. But it's, again, compared to 1.1 trillion, it's a lot more plausible. It's a lot more possible, right? And we haven't even started with the bull market. What we've seen right now, without the rate cuts, is just the start of what is coming. And as you can see, again, we're talking about the same situation. We had a lot of outflows. It's kind of going up and down. But, again, it's coming. And another very important thing that you need to understand is the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Inflation. Inflation is the amount by which practically the price appreciates or depreciates. That's why we have inflation and deflation. What means is that we have on a yearly level, after the halving, because it was 1.7, unfortunately they still didn't change it, now it's 0.85, which means that the price of Bitcoin naturally will depreciate 0.85% on a yearly level, because there is 0.85 new Bitcoins that are coming in the market, right? So it's very easy to understand. But the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum, even if it's not a big difference, it's a very structural difference. Ethereum is one of the rare cryptos that is deflationary. And it has been for the last 2 years, because the merge was 1 year and 355 days ago. So 2 years now, Ethereum is deflationary. They have a mechanism that they burn part of the transaction, part of the fee of every transaction, which means from the beginning of the merge to now, they actually managed to reach 0.2% deflation, which means that they are losing more tokens that they are gaining from the proof of stake mechanism. And in this case, unlike Bitcoin, which is losing 0.85% in price, Ethereum will be gaining. Okay, I get it that it's fluctuating, but as you can see, in 2 years, they didn't manage to go above zero, which means, again, maybe you're not losing, maybe you're not gaining in price, but you're not losing as well, right? So it makes it better than Bitcoin in this case. It's deflationary. And very important part of all this is that, okay, very important. Do you know this guy? So Larry Fink is crypto Jesus. This guy is definitely Peter. If you compare them, this guy is Saint Peter. Why am I saying this? So this is how a face of a crypto perma bull looks like. And this guy, unfortunately, is also a Bitcoin maximalist. Do you know what's a Bitcoin maximalist? Anybody knows? Okay. So for those that don't, Bitcoin maximalist is a guy that believes Bitcoin and nothing else. Everything else is what we were saying. Some people sitting in the basement, you know, doing the code, whatever. They're thinking that they're doing something. Okay. And he was thinking Bitcoin maximalist until the 30th of April. I love this story. This is a story about a guy that was so sure of himself. I get it. This guy is a pioneer. He managed to persuade his company to invest only in Bitcoin. Like, only in Bitcoin. We're buying Bitcoin, and more Bitcoin, and now he is a legend in Wall Street. So he has like 7 billion, if I'm not mistaken, in profits that he is not realizing from what he was investing in the last period, right? So something unseen in Wall Street. He is a legend. But this legend is, unfortunately, as I was saying, Bitcoin maximalist. This is like believing that there is an ultimate technology that nothing else can beat. And let's not forget that Bitcoin is only the first generation of blockchain. We are currently at the 4th generation of blockchain projects. 4th. So can you imagine how many better projects are there? Okay, I get it. Bitcoin is the biggest, I understand. But we need to understand that technology is evolving. But unfortunately, sometimes dinosaurs like this guy don't. So practically what happened, they taught him a very good lesson. The guy came on the 30th of April. My God, I was like, seriously, bro? Came out on a Bitcoin conference and said like this: Bitcoin will be the only coin that will have a spot ETF, and nobody else. There will be no Ethereum, there will be no Cardano, there will be no Solana. And he said, you will see now that they will actually turn down the Ethereum spot ETF, and they will never approve anything else, and every other altcoin will be sued by the SEC. The guy was talking like the Inquisition. Honestly, I was like, okay, why so much hatred? I get it. You did a lot of money. What did Cardano do to you? Solana, what did they do to you? I mean, okay, I get it. You're a Bitcoin maximalist. Go with it, right? And then 1 month later, I love this about capitalism. They go with the flow, my friend. As the wind turns, they turn. What we were saying about the guy Larry Fink? I mean, the guy was so serious, like, Bitcoin? This is a money laundering, man, whatever. Don't even talk to me about it. Then we come to a point, the same thing, like this guy. 30th, nobody will have anything, blah, blah, blah. 26th of May, we're talking not even a full month. They call him on a podcast because Ethereum spot ETF was approved. Magic, right? So he goes to the podcast, and the guy, obviously, after 1.5 hours of I went to the whole thing. I had to see what this guy gonna say. So he asked him, so what are we doing now? Ethereum spot ETF got approved. You know, okay, they did approve it. Ethereum ETF is a crypto industry victory. You know, we're stronger together. With the Ethereum, it's gonna be better. We are more protected. As the wind goes, my friend. As the wind goes. That's the capitalism anyway. But why is it so important? The important part about Ethereum spot ETF is not that we have Ethereum spot ETF. Is that we have an altcoin spot ETF. Which means we will have other altcoin spot ETFs. That's not even a question anymore. We're there. Why am I saying this? Solana already has 2 applications from 21 Shares and Vanek. Those are 2 owners of Ethereum and Bitcoin spot ETF. which means they already have active applications. I get it, there was some problem, there is this lawsuit against Binance and Coinbase where they consider practically all these to be securities, but this is gonna come to the end. Mr. Trump, you like it or you don't like it, that's not a problem. But he said, on the first day that I enter the office in January, I am going to fire Gary Gensler. Now, who here knows who Gary Gensler is? Now, this guy is the biggest obstacle to crypto since electricity. I mean, no electricity, no blockchain, the same with this guy. This guy literally comes up in the morning saying, okay, who am I gonna sue today? But literally, I think he goes like this random, okay? Today Algorand. Okay, send a Wells notice to Algorand. Literally like this. This guy is a joke. So when this guy is gone, you can expect that these things will be reality. Why am I saying this? We're going back to the same guy which was thinking that it's only going to be Bitcoin, which is not possible. You cannot stop evolution of technology. This is something that was proven. If we had, I don't know, F14, then we had F16, then we had, I don't know, whatever F we have right now. Same goes for everything else. Technology continues. So Bitcoin will be the biggest one. I get it. That's a definition. But what we need to understand is that just a matter of time before we start getting altcoins to have their own spot ETF. And why is this so important? If you compare the market cap of Solana and XRP to Ethereum, they look like the difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin. Because Solana has like 60 billion, XRP has like 30 billion. And then as we go down, this guy has like, I don't know, 17, this guy have 10, these guys have, I don't know, 13. I'm not sure exactly, but what I'm trying to tell you is that, can you imagine the institutional money of BlackRock, of Fidelity, coming into a small market cap like 17 billion Cardano? Can you imagine what that is going to change if they just invest, I don't know, 2 billion, right? That's straight away like 13-14% jump of the price. What I'm trying to say is that all these projects themselves, they have valid technology that is used every day. So when we get to the point that finally institutions start investing in altcoins, this is like getting a stamp of approval. Okay, this thing is good for institutional investment. And again, don't forget, everybody that was here in the previous bull markets, we didn't even have an idea that one day we will have a spot ETF, which means this institutional money that we see, 22 billion from BlackRock in Bitcoin and 1 billion in Ethereum, were just an idea. Last bull market in 2021 was the biggest news that Elon Musk started selling Tesla with Bitcoin. That was the biggest news, can you imagine? If I go 2017, it's even sad to tell you, right? When you consider what in 2017 came up first companies that started investing in Bitcoin. For us, that was like, whoa, big company, 10 billion started investing in Bitcoin, right? And now we have the largest players in the space. These guys are running the game and they're buying like there is no tomorrow. So as an ending to all this, what you need to understand is that, again, this is not a financial, I'm not telling you to buy, I'm telling you to study. Everybody saw for sure somewhere study Bitcoin, right? Study crypto generally. Why is this so? This is a special page which is called Cryptocurrency Adoption AAA, something like that. Very easy to find. According to their statistics, only 6.8% of the full population of the world owns or knows about cryptocurrencies. 6.8. This is to tell you that this is not late. That's why BlackRock is so in a hurry to buy as much as possible, because this is nothing, this is a fraction. Just for you to have a comparison how much this is. Internet has a 70% rate of adoption on a global level. 70. Internet is here since the 2000s. Even before, if you were living in a first world country, right? Anyway. But if internet in the last 25 years, let's say, since it really got around the world, managed to get to 70% adoption, 25 years. Now with the technology that we have, that everybody has access to information, everybody can do stuff, right? Before you couldn't. It's impossible. It's sometimes, even now, people, I don't know, in Zimbabwe, I don't want to offend anybody, but what I'm trying to say is that, unfortunately, we have the same situation now. Third world country citizens, unfortunately, have no access to this kind of information. They have nowhere to see this. You understand what I'm trying to say? So now we have the privilege to see it, and everybody is like, it's okay, there is time. So I'm just giving you a heads up, think about it, because trust me, there is no time. And I know for my 4 less, let's say, presentations, at the end people ask me, so where we can learn more, right? Unfortunately, my program with more than 1,100 videos is in Macedonian. I'm doing this because nobody's doing this for my country. So I'm taking from my time to present for people that unfortunately, because of the language barrier, cannot follow material in English, where we have a lot, right? Okay. But at the end of the day, because there was a lot of interest and less time they asked me and I was feeling like a dumbass at the end, I say, okay, you know what? So my channel is in Macedonian, thank you very much. If you know Macedonian, you can learn more, right? So what I'm going to do is, in the next presentation, potentially whenever we have it in Crypto Hub Malta, I'm going to announce more details about this. What I'm planning to do is a crash course in investment in blockchain. I'm not selling you anything. What I'm trying to say is that because there is a lot of interest and I'm working in a hotel, I have a very big conference hall, I can potentially do, let's say, some kind of a course of 10 weeks in a row, where I literally will charge only to cover the let's say, office itself. So practically what I'm gonna do is a short course where you can learn from what is Bitcoin, gold, and real estate to how to invest, and etc., etc. Anyway, I really thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoy. So guys, any questions?
Put your hands up, I'll come around with the microphone and you can ask all the questions you want.
Hello. Antonio, thank you very much for your awesome presentation. I have 3 questions, if you don't mind. You mentioned at the very beginning it's the big guys, right? How can we be so sure that once they're done with buying, they will not start selling?
Historically, when BlackRock buys something, they don't buy it for the cycle. Potentially, these people are not even concerned with the cycle. What I'm trying to say is that these kind of investment giants, when they see a potential, they don't do it to sell it the next month. Again, it's always buying and selling. That's the market. At the end of the day, this is what the market is for, right? Because the market is summed up to 0, which means somebody needs to lose for somebody to gain, right? So in this case, yes, it's always the risk that these people might say, you know what, it's an off-risk season, so we're going to start selling. But that doesn't change the fact that if you check back, let's say in history, when BlackRock buys something, maybe they will say a portion of it, but they never sold their 15% in Apple, they never sold their 12% in Microsoft. Check their portfolio and you will see that the best investments for them are definition. They buy it and they keep it forever, at least until now.
Thank you very much. And how do they make profit if they keep it?
So, appreciation. The same way Michael Saylor does. What does he say? I will never sell. I will never sell. I will buy more, but how? You will come to me. In this case, BlackRock. BlackRock is making money from the fee from the Bitcoin Spot ETF, believe it or not. So they don't even own it. This is something that is custodied by Coinbase, that is on and off ramp by JP Morgan, believe it or not, you can check this. And they make the fee, practically, they're actually charging fee for you having them custody your Bitcoin. So I get it that the fee is now small, but they understand how big this is going to be in the future. The same way Grayscale was making 2% per year from everybody that bought Bitcoin through them. And the second thing, except for the fee, is leverage. You can leverage this capital that you own to take credit, you don't sell it, you use the credit to invest, and you use the profits or whatever you have to practically pay back the credit. You never even touch your main capital gains. This is what Michael Saylor does.
Thank you. And one more. Yes, we've seen 10 players that they own tons of Bitcoin, right? You said 1-2%, I'm not sure. Shouldn't that head us to a centralization and stuff?
Yes, that's true. The pioneers of Bitcoin were thinking, that's it. We're going to beat the industry, we're going to be the biggest, and we're going to destroy everybody. Unfortunately, finance and economy doesn't work like that. Why? There is no capital if there is no mass adoption. There is no mass adoption without these guys. Unfortunately, that's how it works. That's why I'm saying we managed to front run the front runners. Otherwise, this guy will be the first ones buying when something is good. Doesn't matter if it's a bond stock is some kind of a resource, they will buy it and they will sell it to you. What I'm trying to tell you is that most of the people that started with this technology in 2013, 14, when they, let's say, first learned about it, since Bitcoin is from 2009, it is true, we're talking about good decentralization, but unfortunately, without the big players, there is no next step. Why am I saying this? Think about it. We managed to get 20,000, right? 20,000 was the top of 2017. Then the next top was 70,000, right? That's only 3x, more or less, right? So, that's the capital. That's how much the retail sector can pay. Unfortunately, we are getting to a point that this is the might of the people that are buying. And the same whales are buying, the same whales are saying, the same retail sector is coming back without the big guys. That's why I showed you. 7 months, 21 billion, one guy, BlackRock. 7 months, right? We haven't even started with the bull market. That's what I'm trying to say. Without the big guys, there is no next step. It's for everything, not only for blockchain, for everything. Without mass adoption. Anybody else?
Up with the hands if you have questions. Question in the front.
Hi, Antonio. You can see from the window. Great presentation, by the way. Curious about the 4 years bull run that we have, obviously. But now that we see the big players entering the market, how long do you think that it will continue, this 4-year cycle, until we get some kind of manipulation of it from BlackRock and the others?
So that's actually a very good question, because everybody wants to know what's going to happen to the traditional 4-year cycle, right? Again, everybody can speculate. Nobody can tell you for sure. There is going to be one guy is going to say, yes, this is going to happen. And we're talking thousands of guys that are giving prediction. One guy will get it right and he's going to be a rock star of the cycle. Usually it happens like that. This guy predicted the top. This guy predicted the bottom. But what we need to understand is, first of all, take all the information, make your own analysis and make your own conclusion. Because that's why I gave you the example for the traditional finances. They were expecting 1 billion in all the Bitcoin spot ETFs until the end of the year. That's what the best minds of the industry was thinking, right? This is how I think. I have an example to explain what I'm expecting to happen. Because this is pure economics. Usually, if you complicate things, you're getting to a wrong conclusion. Try to simplify them. So, let's put it this way. Bitcoin cycle, we said, it's practically halving the production of Bitcoin every 4 years, right? Okay. Let's put it again to the same village, same factory for shoes. One village has a need of 100 pairs of shoes. That's how many people are there. And the factory, let's say we're back in communist times, are producing only 100 pairs of shoes. What's the difference now? In the first 2 cycles, we were having the same cycle. So the village had a need of 100 pairs. The factory, through this 4-year cycle, was producing 100 pairs. Everybody's happy, right? Okay, I get it. Sometimes we have less, sometimes we have more. That's why we have bull and bear market, right? But now the difference is, not only that after 4 years, this factory stopped producing 100, they started producing 50 pairs. And now, as every 4 years, this village, they need to start competing to buy the shoes because somebody will be going barefoot, right? And as usually, that's the case. Now we have the neighboring village, which is like 5 times more rich than this village, which has the factory, because this factory is us. Everyday degens that are following this technology since the basement to the Soho, right? And now these guys from the neighboring village that really have money, they come and they say, okay, we want some shoes as well. So they say, you know what, we're going to buy these 50 pairs of shoes and we don't care about this village. And they start buying like there is no tomorrow. Can you imagine how many people will be going barefoot now? So that's what I was saying to people. Think about it this way. Before, who was pumping the price of Bitcoin before every cycle and throughout every cycle? The whales, right? These are the guys that own something from the beginning. We're talking people that were investing in 2011. The guy with the pizza, right? Okay. So now, these people are pumping every cycle because they know how it goes. Retail sector comes last. They just dump on retail sector. Thank you very much. See you next cycle. Now we have the whales and the institutions pumping the same thing. So what I am expecting is, now the price will be a lot higher. Why? Because before only the whales were pumping the price. Now we have institutions like never before. So when we get to this point, how does an altcoin season start? The whales are the ones that are transferring the capital of the profits from Bitcoin to Ethereum, from Ethereum to all the altcoins, right? But before, it was only them. Now they will have a lot more profits to run through the whole bull market. And that's why I'm expecting to have potentially the biggest bull market we've ever seen. Because BlackRock cannot go now to, I don't know, XRP or VeChain or whatever. They cannot. They physically and lawfully cannot. They can buy only Bitcoin and Ethereum. But the whales can. So I'm expecting a very good bull market, and I'm expecting that the cycle will be kept as it is, because at the end of the day, the whales will be dumping, they don't care. Cycle comes, my friend. 1.5 years after the halving, thank you very much. I'm exiting the market because I've done that 3 times in a row, and it worked. Why would you change the game, right? That's what I'm expecting, but again, everybody needs to do their own research. That's the best part and the most important part in crypto and investing.
Do we have 1 or 2 last closing questions? Really quick, up with the hands. One quick question here.
Sorry guys, I'm just trying to be thorough, you know.
Right, so Ferris mentioned that you have a background in law. Could you explain what prevents those ETFs from pretending that they have more holdings than they actually do?
Law. Because SEC will come knocking right away. Why? So, how does an ETF work? We have an actual ETF, right? This is something that is owned by BlackRock, but they do not hold what you're buying. This goes through a bank and through a custody provider. Custody provider in this case is Coinbase. And bank in this case is JP Morgan, and there was another one, kill me, I don't remember. But all these transactions of everybody that right now, so let's say you want to invest in BlackRock Bitcoin Spot ETF. When you pay $200 to your broker or directly, doesn't matter. You pay $200 to the fund of Bitcoin of BlackRock. They have to, because they are not the ones doing. The bank is doing. The bank is on and off ramp. So they need to take the money. They need to buy immediately Bitcoin, because otherwise there will be slippage. It's going to be a difference in the price that you paid and the price that they bought the Bitcoin for. And they give it to Coinbase, which is just a custody provider. They're just keeping the Bitcoin. Which means, if any of these things are not working fine, there are special houses that are doing audits. And they're doing audits sometimes on a daily basis. Which means that when the auditor comes, you need to have everything spotless. In Wall Street, there is no fucking around about these kind of things. Something like this, they see that you have discrepancy between the money that you have invested and the underlying asset. Doesn't have to be a Bitcoin. It can be oil, it can be whatever. If there is a discrepancy, my friend, good luck to you trying to explain this. Which means there will be an investigation immediately.
Okay, I have one closing question, and this is based on my personal story, because when the Bitcoin ETF was approved in January, I was sitting in my pajama in front of my computer, and I was celebrating as everybody else here. But now I'm starting to wonder. You are saying BlackRock, they own 50% of the last factory in Malaysia through some subsidiaries. And all of a sudden, the good old rebel that I know you are becomes like a fan of BlackRock because they're buying Bitcoin. But aren't you afraid that they are so powerful, they are going to eventually not have 1.2% of the liquidity of Bitcoin, which is a lot, but maybe double digit. And then they are de facto, not through the mining that they cannot control, but through the ownership de facto in control of Bitcoin as an asset. Aren't you worried about that?
Yes, I am, extremely. But it doesn't change the fact it's going to happen. Can you stop them? We're talking about open market economy. This is one thing that people don't understand. Unfortunately, most of these people that are the actual programmers, the actual people standing behind this technology, unfortunately does not understand economy. That's the truth. I mean, crypto, cypherpunks were badasses, right? Cypherpunks are the people standing behind Bitcoin. They revolutionized everything. Why they're saying? In this case, if you compare this to, let's say, email, right? Email and the post. So you can say that the same that the email did to the post or Limp Bizkit did to the music industry will happen to, in this case, the banks, right? It's true. They have to revolutionize. I mean, not only banks, the whole countries. Take a look at BRICS. They cannot escape it. They now in October are announcing Mbridge, which is a CBDC platform through blockchain, where all these countries will be doing international transactions between themselves on blockchain. You cannot run away from it, but in the same time, what is the biggest problem? Cypherpunk knows how to do everything about the code, but he never paid attention to the economy. You cannot go to the next step. This is an open market economy. You cannot stop BlackRock from buying. Whatever you do, no matter how much you're mad about it, you don't like it, who asks you? Sorry, but that's the truth. Is anybody asking us in this room here if BlackRock should be buying now or tomorrow or, I don't know, the day after tomorrow? So, you either sit home and, I don't know, bitch about it, or you do something about it. You know what? Become, first of all, a millionaire, make some capital, and then try to fight them in their own game. Because if you allow them to do it, they will do it no matter what. So, it's up to you. You need to decide, right?
Thank you very much. And also, Antonio is telling us to join this class. You can scan the QR code, and if you claim the POAP right now, I have another good announcement, because all of your future losses are going to be compensated by Antonio himself. Okay, I'm joking, but you can still claim it. We're going to be your next speech and see you around. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
Let's have some Limp Bizkit now. Antonio. You like that one?
Paris, I want to sign the poem.
Come guys.
It's always solid until it's not. I always hold the cycle. Never miss the beat. 1 year after the Hub you make the profit to go up.
1 second. Guys, we take one picture. Okay, so you can see this. Thank you.
You know, it's very nice when people understand. That's why I said this is going to make
Samo sekunda.